The Square Ball Podcast.
And we're off with the weekly show. Welcome. Down here with Michael and Rob as we catch up on the very latest that's happened at Leeds United over the last 7 days. Levi Solicitors bringing the show. 10% discount on your legal fees. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. We're delighted to have them on board because they're for a wide range of legal services for you and for your business.
Mm-hmm. They do, yeah.
You're going to?
Well, they're all on the website, aren't they? If you want to look on there,
That's right.
Which is what I've done. So what do you want to know about for you, for business? Just generally about them, you can find out that.
Somebody on Wacko was objecting to you messing this read up every time. I'm wondering if you do it on purpose.
It's not so much on purpose, it's just more a general incompetence. If I could do a better job, I would, but I can't. So I've kind of settled on this as a method of doing it.
Yeah, because it kind of works, doesn't it? Yeah.
People seem to remember it. The amount of stuff I get tagged in on a weekly basis about wills and probate and conveyancing, which are 3 of the services, in case you weren't aware, suggests, it does work.
It's got cut through.
It's sticking.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm delighted that you made this about you and not the sponsor of the show, which is Levi Solicitors.
Who do good work.
Yeah. Just good work or great work?
Great work.
Yeah.
In areas such as wills, probate and conveyancing.
Yeah. I mean, it pays to not press the fast forward by 30 seconds button at this point in the podcast, doesn't it? Because you never know what entertainment you're going to get. And it's that. It's a 10% discount. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. What do you want to talk about today then? We have the Trust going to meet Paraag. You were there as part of that, Michael, as a Trust member. Brendan's done his interview, trying to keep the door open potentially to a way back to Leeds, and he's promising to bulk up as well.
He said he already has bulked up.
He's been spending the last few years bulking up, and this is the result.
I was going to say, we've got drop points for Ipswich. We've got the 21s getting battered. The women lose it. How did this happen? They lost to Barnsley and Sheffield.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's all about. South Yorkshire, innit? It's all the same.
I think it's like when we had to play some games at neutral venues when there were wars and stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's just not safe, maybe, in Barnsley. So they've had to play it.
So they lost
close by.
Lost 3-0 to their top of the table, Barnsley. So they would have gone level on points if they'd won. So they were in touch. But that league, being daft as it is with only one promotion place, means that it's harder now.
Yeah, you can read Flora's blog about that because she wasn't very happy with the referee, and neither were the Leeds players. One of them got sin-binned.
Right, that's
mouthing off.
That's the thing, is it?
Apparently so.
They're away at West Didsbury and Chorlton in the first round of the FA Cup on Sunday. So good luck to the women. What do you want to have a chat about as well?
Should we talk about Brendan's fantastic body transformation, man? We have just been slagging him off a bit with Phil.
Well, we recorded with Phil, and on that show with Phil this week, we tried to have a mature discussion about Brendan's prospects of returning back to Elland Road and featuring in the future.
You love him for some reason.
I don't love him.
You're desperate to have him back.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
Get all those guys back, you were saying?
It's my job as host to ask questions.
You were saying get Kiko Casilla back to play with Rasmus Christensen is what you were saying.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, something like that.
Words to that effect.
Words to that effect. We don't still own him, do we?
Who?
Kiko Casilla, we did eventually manage to
Rasmus Christensen, yes, we do. Kiko Casilla, no, he's gone.
Good.
He's gone. Victor Orta as well was on telly. Did you notice that, by the way? Just thinking about that era. Head of Arsenal Sevilla in the Champions League, putting himself front and centre against that super.
He's been doing plenty of interviews, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Where he's said, I'm not going to answer questions about the bad times at Leeds. I'm only going to talk about how I got Bielsa. And you think, yeah, but can you answer the stuff that we actually want to hear you talk about, Victor?
Just talking about things read on Wacko, actually, somebody quite rightly pointed out, no, Leeds went and got Bielsa. It wasn't just you. Yeah. Leeds got Bielsa, not Victor Orta.
Yeah, so it's an interesting journalistic perspective to take, is that saying that's fine. We don't have to talk about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Just talk about that one thing you did well once and
Yes.
sign it. And maybe sign Jorginho Ruta. That was quite good, I suppose.
By accident.
Have we not given him credit for that?
No, it was a complete fluke, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
I mean, let's face it, nobody at the club seems to know why we had signed Jorginho Ruta last season.
That was his method, though, wasn't it? It's like when Nonto arrived and Jesse had clearly never spoken to him in his life either.
But as we're starting to see now, Ruta is a fantastic player, and you've got to give him credit, I think, for seeing that. You don't have to give him credit for the timing of it, nor the fee involved as well.
Yeah.
I think Jorginho Ruta deserves all the credit himself.
He's the talented one after all, Rob.
Exactly. I mean, even Farke didn't really know what to do with him at the start of pre-season. He was like, is he a winger? Maybe. But let's see. And Ruta's like, nah, I'm just the best player in the league.
And Ruta was the same price as Aaronson, wasn't he? as an upfront fee anyway.
About 25 mil or something, yeah.
So
Anyway.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you do.
Easy come, easy go. 25 million quid. There you go.
That's the Premier League for you, isn't it? As for Aaronson then, yeah, he's actually conceded that he was going down too easy around the edge of the box. And it's like, yeah, we know. Moscow's daily email to this effect, talking about this, summed it up really, really well, actually, that TSB Plus members got. Like, yeah, we had noticed. Stop doing that. Try doing something else, like staying on your feet.
Which he'll be able to do now because he's hench.
Yeah.
As you saw from his birthday, which I think it was his 23rd birthday, but he seemed to have put some pictures on from his 13th birthday instead.
That was his plate of cookies and the candle, wasn't it? Bless him, stop picking on him. It's only a little lad.
His argument was that he was being really clever going down because he was trying to win free kicks. And again, it was like, yeah, Brendan, that's what we noticed. That's what we were angry about.
Yeah.
The bit where you noticed was that they weren't forthcoming ever. But never mind.
But going to Union Berlin, he felt like that was the best decision he could have made, playing in the Bundesliga and the Champions League to help his career and getting better. That's why
playing 5 minutes here and there in the Bundesliga and the Champions League.
Yeah, he's not racked up many minutes. It's something like, 420, 430 minutes, which is, what's that, about 5 games over the course of the whole season.
He got about 10 minutes last night, didn't he, in the Champions League, which they didn't lose, which was good. Is that 12 games did they lose in a row? But they finally stopped that. I don't know if you noticed. So the Athletic are like embedded with Union Berlin this season. And Stuart James, who wrote the Brendan Aaronson interview, and does generally do some good, interesting stuff. But
not this one.
His piece after last night
out, Rob.
was all about how Leonardo Bonucci is a born winner and the Napoli fans don't like him and they were calling him a loser. And Stuart James was writing how he proved them wrong by drawing and getting knocked out of the Champions League. And there's actually a line in the piece that says, getting knocked out of the Champions League has never felt so good. Which, that's one way of looking at it.
Is that how Scum found it last night? I suppose they're not technically out, are they? After they lost.
No, that was funny, wasn't it?
They're just almost out. I see, you messaged me about this and I was like, I feel like we needed him to win that.
Yeah, but
feels a bit sacky.
Now they can use the excuse of VAR and the officials for stealing it from them last night, because they were 2-0 and cruising, I think, weren't they? And then it all just went mad.
It's lovely that they went back in front as well, just to throw it away again.
Yeah. Because, when they went back in front, it was 3-2. I was only following it on FOTMob by that point, but I was like, forget it, whatever. My joy, my laughter has been taken away. And then somebody messaged me, and it was 4-3. And I was like, no way. And I checked, and it was. And that made me laugh.
You can appreciate various facets of them at the moment, can't you?
Yeah. The fact that they are still quite good and operating at a decent level, but they're nowhere near the level they used to be at, and they haven't come to terms with that yet. And the Glazers are doing a fine job.
Yeah, good lads. Great bunch of lads all round.
Any further thoughts on Brendan then? Should we move on?
I didn't think it... Well, I guess it kind of summed up what we all thought about Jesse Marsch a little bit when Brendan Aaronson's talking about how stressed he was and how much he was panicking about not getting goals or assists, and Jesse Marsch's advice was just go and play. And you think, yeah, but maybe you needed a bit more instruction or coaching than that. I was interested because in the interview, Brendan Aaronson said what a lot of athletes say now, and he was talking about how much he likes to play in the flow state where everything's instinctive and he doesn't have to think. And I wrote a blog a few years ago. It was at the end of the season where Jesse took over, because I'd read an interesting article, or at least I found it interesting, about there'd been some research done into that, and it was sort of saying how the actual conditions required for an athlete to perform in this flow state are so rare, like you just can't rely on it. And actually what is more common is that when they're playing, they almost don't hear their own voice in their head. They hear their coach's voice in their head. And what they require is, what they need is like really specific instruction, which sticks in their head and they remember, oh, so I'm here, so I do this. So under Bielsa, for instance, the wingers were told, if you're at this part of the pitch, you cross to there. If you're at this part, you cross to there. If you're at the byline, you cross to there. But whereas Brendan Aaronson had Jesse Marsch telling him, don't be stressed.
Don't be stressed. Stress.
Have more clarity.
Stress.
And drive for the penalty spot.
And you see that here in this interview where he's worrying about his goals and assists, and Jesse's going, just go and play. And you think, well, I'm trying, and it's not working.
Vibes man. He tried to be a vibes man, didn't he? But the vibes faded quite quickly.
Before we move on, could you vote for us, please? Please. We've been shortlisted for Club Podcast of the Year in this year's FSA Awards. Last year, as I discovered yesterday, we won Fan Media of the Year. I thought we'd won Podcast last year, but it wasn't. It was Fan Media of the Year last year. but we've been shortlisted for Club Podcast of the Year this time. Question 8 in the survey. If you go to thesquareball.net/vote, that will redirect you to the voting page.
Don't need to vote for it in every category either.
No, just
if you don't give a toss-who, like, men's footballer of the year is, don't bother.
Yeah, just
go that way, vote, bang, see you later.
It's mandatory, I believe, though, to vote in question 8 and to vote for us.
Yes.
That may or may not be true.
Don't vote for that Newport. Was it Newport podcast is on there.
Yeah, which, given that it's essentially a popular vote, this one, it does feel a little bit harsh on them, doesn't it, when you're up against it? I mean, we get lots of people voting for us for stuff which we're really grateful for. Please do it again. But they're up against like us and Arsenal and like Liverpool and stuff. So it's a lot of heavyweights in the category, hey? But we'd quite like a drunken night out in London at the start of December. Just gets us out of the house, doesn't it?
It does. That's all we ask
which
for.
is essentially all we ask for. It's just a nice day out. But it's in the Nobu Hotel in Portman Square, which is quite a posh part of London, isn't it? And we looked at the rooms there, how much they were.
But was it 680?
The cheapest room.
£680?
688 quid it was.
88.
Yeah.
Did that include breakfast, though?
I don't think you did. It was an extra 50 quid for 2 people for breakfast.
I'd really like to see you get your money's worth out of that breakfast buffet.
Well, I will say, when we were there last year, they were bringing the old canapes around, like the old vol au vents in the waiting room before you went into the ceremony. I must have had about 15 of those, thinking, free scran, let's get as much
It's a
as
full meal afterwards.
Yeah, it's like, couldn't touch the full meal, I was full. But yeah, if you don't mind, thesquareball.net/vote, and spread the word, tell your friends.
Tell your friends with VPNs, that's what I'm saying.
If you have any connections at Far East Click Farms, that's all we ask. Please do that, but definitely just vote for you yourself, squareball.net/vote.
Do what you think is morally right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You went to the Paraag Marathe trust meeting, Michael. How was it? Debrief us, please.
It was all right. Yeah. It's funny, I was chatting to slight name drop here, Simon Ricks of the Kaiser Chiefs, because he was also there. Chatting to him outside, and we sort of saying, it was all right, wasn't it?
Can I just ask you could just call him Si?
Of course, yeah. We talk about,
Rixie.
Music and that.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm kind of a musician as well.
Yeah.
So.
What's your instrument?
Well, I don't limit myself.
Sort of a one-man band?
Yeah, I just do a bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah.
Not anything in particular, is what I would say. But yeah,
do you offer Simon tips on bassing?
No, I don't like to talk down to him, because it'd be unfair, really. But,
patronising him a bit, yeah.
He's done all right for himself, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Earned a few quid out of money, music and that. So
yeah,
well
you could if you chose to. But
if I chose to. Stuff I was doing a bit. It's not quite as mainstream.
Yeah, but you do this as a public service.
Exactly.
He's collaborated with Nile Rodgers on the new album, haven't they? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I turned him down.
I just
turned him down, Rodgers. He rang me up and I was like, "Okay, hell, I'm looking really to be working with fresh new artists." Is what I'm thinking. That sort of thing. But anyway, to go back to what we were saying,
it's the tone of your voice that's making me laugh.
It was that it was kind of a bit safe and in some ways a bit boring and professional. But we're like, but this is actually a good thing. I prefer this to...
Because meetings with club owners used to be chaos, didn't they? And there were like secret recordings and they'd get leaked on the internet and people were angry.
Exactly. Whereas when Chelino would speak to people drunk on the phone for like 45 minutes and call David Haig a witch. I think this is probably better.
Those were the days, weren't they?
I mean, unreal that stuff went on.
It is, isn't it? Because Paraag Marathe strikes me, he says a thoroughly professional guy.
Yeah.
The delivery is very polished, isn't it? To the point of almost being vanilla, and yet you kind of want him to say, well, yeah, dealing with Rajazani, witch.
Yeah. Yeah, so not Rajazani, to be clear. That was
no, not a witch.
No,
but that's what Paraag could say.
Yes,
is what I mean.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So thanks for correcting me incorrectly.
Sorry, I was getting confused with
thinking all music still.
I'm thinking of Chelino and Rajazani and where they all intersect. But yeah, it was not. I don't think it was anything really we didn't already know. He did like an opening speech about how his background was not really, his family background was they were all engineers, and him going into sports was a big thing because everyone was like, well, that's not a job. But then he's done that and he's passionate about it and he's made a success of it.
I mean, this ain't a job, but we've somehow done it.
Well, I've got the music as well. I know
to fall back on it.
That's where my passion is, really. But then he started talking about the stadium stuff as well, which, again, we kind of know about. that they'll do the West Stand first. There's some talk about whether they could do the West and the North at the same time. And the plan is to go behind it, above it, so you don't lose capacity. At that point, you then move everyone downstairs, upstairs. You build the downstairs. Stuff we know.
3 years out or whatever, wasn't it?
Yeah, a few years till anyone actually gets to sit in a new West Stand because they'll. But it sounds like, unlike last time we were promoted, if we are promoted this time, he was more or less saying we'll go instantly on it. Whereas it felt like we went, we'll buy some extra players instead and kind of see how it goes. And it's a hell of a lot of money, isn't it, to build stadiums? It's not like the West Stand, the East Stand, sorry, that was built for like 20 quid or whatever it was.
I think it was 5.5 million, wasn't it, at the time?
Which is insane, really.
Yeah.
Given, people spend £1 billion on stadiums now, and we built a quarter of one for £5 million.
For about the price of a Glen Kamara.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I could, if they want it for $5 million, I could look at it. I'll look at it for them.
I dread to think what that would come out like if you were left in charge of it.
Well, I could
Just there'd be cable ties and gaffer tape everywhere, wouldn't there?
Yeah. There's also a question about removing the boxes from the back of the South Stand, which again is something people often talk about doing because you can increase. That's the way it originally was. There were no boxes there. Then Bill Fotherby stuck some porter cabins at the back of it. Angus Kinnear was there as well, and he said, we know it's not really a great experience back there anyway. He said, although we don't tell that to the people we're selling him to, which was a fair point. He also threw to Kinnear a few times on some difficult questions to go. Someone asked about Jean-Kevin Augustin, and he just went, Angus.
Do you know anything about that? Were you involved? Or?
But on that, he said that Kinnear said it was done, essentially, because the question was about whether or not we still have money to pay on it. And he was implied, without going into any details, that it was settled and that because there's obviously the personal claim element of it from the player who can rightly say, well, if they say the transfer should have gone through, I should have had a 4-year contract on £80,000 a week or whatever it was. But Kinnear seemed to imply that was sorted as well, or will be sorted.
That will go away at some point, if not already.
If not,
by the way, Angus has obviously been in here. He comes in at the start of the season to do his thing with us. Did he say hi? Did you have a good chat, or did he just blank you? Are you dead to him now?
Did that. Palm out.
Yeah.
Don't speak to me.
Yeah, is that true?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at the...
No, it was... they basically both walked on together and then walked off. So, no, I didn't get a chance to
Didn't even acknowledge you. No. That's sad, isn't it? £5.5 million in 1992 is £11.6 million with inflation today in 2023.
Wow.
So the costs have basically spiralled, 10 times? Something like that?
So we could have bought another East Stand instead of Junior Firpo. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, again, I'm not sure what 11.6 million would get you in today's money in terms of a stand. You are looking at employing Michael for that.
It'd be fine, wouldn't it?
What, if you did it?
Yeah.
I mean, how long the safety certificate would last, I don't know. But anyway, good. Well, that's good. There was praise for Nick Hammond as well.
Yeah, someone asked about will he be getting a new contract? And he didn't say yes, but he did say...
He's going to be here for the January window, though, isn't he?
Yeah, they said they've been very impressed with him, and they couldn't fault his work so far, and yada yada. And also about January, someone asked about money to sign players. He didn't say no. He didn't say yes. He said people saying we should maybe buy a left back or a right back, but we've got a left back and a right back who haven't played this season and who are both superb players. And I was thinking, well, Jed Spencer's one, but it's Junior Firpo, the other one, just to spoil the surprise for you. But yeah, that was about it.
Bit of surprise at the loan clauses.
He was surprised.
If only they'd been there at the time when they were given out. That's all I'd say.
Was there anyone in that room that maybe should have known about those loan clauses?
That's what I'm saying. Was there anybody who?
Okay, just looking at his shoes.
Yeah.
Anyway. But I know they've been covered to death, haven't they? The loan clauses. Yeah. So,
and we're all happy now because we're up towards the top of the table. Not quite overtaken Ipswich yet, but they dropped points as we mentioned with Phil.
You've got to have hot internet takes on these things, haven't you? And I think Ipswich are finished.
Yeah. Are they a finished club?
They're a finished club.
Is it Leeds, Susan?
They're more finished than Glen Kamara.
He's no finished. He's finished.
But yeah, it's good. Good that it's been a good week, hasn't it, for that?
Yeah.
Them dropping points.
All things considered, yeah. It's. I'm not saying they've disappeared over the horizon. It feels like we can see them on the horizon again now.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're looking at this week and you're going, Just imagine if we could get it to 5 points before the international break.
I was quite. What day was it they played Ipswich? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday, yeah. That was their rearranged game, wasn't it, when it got rained off the first time around?
But yeah, I was quite ashamed of myself when I was going to bed, and I was like, let me just check how Ipswich and Rotherham ended, because I'm now fully invested in this. Like, my ideal is to at least give yourself 6 months to just enjoy us being good, because I know the second half of this season is probably going to be awfully tense and crippling. Whereas I think back to Bielsa's first season and think, well, the first half was just magical, and then the second half was absolutely agonising and awful. But I'm already feeling myself sort of getting dragged into that agonising, awful bit.
Yeah, we were saying this with Phil, weren't we? Like, it's got to the point now where you're checking the fixtures and starting to check the table. Now we're a third of the way in. But it can be both things, can't it? I am, on the one hand, now starting to check things like that. But on the other, I am still really enjoying the football. It's just that it'll hurt, for example, if we don't beat Plymouth.
Yeah.
Because we kind of need to now.
I think, ideally, it just needs to be like the Huddersfield game again. Just 4 up at half time. That's all I'm asking for. The absolute lack of tension in the stadium because you just batter them.
Yeah.
And then go, fine. Have the second half off, lads. Whatever.
And then we all moan that the atmosphere ain't great in the second half.
I hated that second half.
In many ways, though, I think it'd be nice to have a bit of a relaxing time at Elland Road. Because like you said, there's going to be tension towards the end of the season. So let's be as relaxed as we can in the run-up to it. Just enjoy what we're seeing. Not the case for the 21s, though. 7-1 at home to Palace. What happened there?
Lots of corners happened, and I think that was the problem. I think basically all of Palace's goals were from set pieces or crosses, and they're all just headed in. Danny van den Heuvel, our Leeds' goalkeeper, just seems to be diving all over the place, and the defence didn't really seem to know what was going on. I think watching the highlights on LUTV, it's made Palace's 4th or 5th goal, where you can hear a Leeds fan in the background just as they tap it into an empty goal, just go, yeah, there it is.
Is it saying Scoob's out?
You
You don't have corners in futsal, do you? I suppose.
That's true, yeah. Just need to replace it with a wall or something.
Build that wall.
Around the under-21s pitch.
I mean, York City play there, don't they? So I don't know how happy they would be.
It's fine. All right, we'll put perspex up. That seems fine.
But yeah, it was. We were in here, weren't we, for the Leicester game when the alert came through on my phone that Joe Snowden had pulled a goal back to make it 6-1. And I thought, a little bit of respectability in stoppage time there, but there was still about 2 minutes left, and Palace just went up the other end and scored a 7th, which was not great.
The Square Ball Podcast.